We await news, Simon, if there's going to be any news coming out of Manchester before the Tottenham game that Ollie takes charge, doesn't take charge, whatever happens in that one. But now we know that the Glazer family, well, this has all been going on, all the reaction to the fact that Liverpool went to Old Trafford and won 5-0 at the weekend. The Glazer family, it appears, have missed out on buying an Indian Premier League cricket team. We hear that they came in, but they came in a bit light. Now, we're talking many, many millions of pounds. Would it be appropriate for some Manchester United fans to be thinking, well, while we're in turmoil at the football club, you're trying to buy a cricket team? What's going on?
No, because the two things aren't indexed. The fact that they are owning a variety of sporting businesses, as a lot of club owners are now wanting to do, because it gives them an opportunity to have a plethora of media rights, to build it into a sports media business that can probably be monetised even greater, is actually something that people should encourage. You've got the Glazers. You didn't want them, but you've got them. Their involvement in sport, whether it's diversifying into other sports that whether it be cricket or they've already obviously involved in the NFL, I don't think is a bad thing. Now, the argument that you run that you're in disarray, well, I mean, to some extent, you've made a decision about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer 3 years ago, which hasn't just landed today. You haven't been winning anything for 3 years. You've been investing heavily. You've had a situation last year with the ESL where you've been lambasted and called out by the supporter base, right or wrong, and pitches invaded and so on and so forth. But I don't think this is anything to do with the supporters of Manchester United, or should form any concern about whether they are going to redirect money from Manchester United or whether their attentions are redirected. Probably still one of the jewels in their crown is Manchester United. It doesn't have perhaps the same economic value as some of their NFL stuff, but it's not far from it. So they're not going to deflect their eyes away from Manchester United. They're buying sports businesses. That should mean to Manchester United that buying a sports business, they are obviously building a central set of thinking around the value of sports rights, broadcasting rights. They're going to monetize it. Maybe some of the recent share disposals were part and parcel of the thinking to raise the cash to be able to do this deal. But I don't really think that Manchester United fans, unless they want to see a conspiracy theory or they want to be concerned by it, the situation at Manchester United is easily resolvable. You know, you have to make some decisions. You've patronised the manager. You've given him 3 years. And whilst nobody wants to say it, there's no need to say it about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer getting the sack, somebody that's had a job of that kind of experience with the kind of salary that goes with it that he's had at Manchester United for 3 years, whilst it's sad, it isn't anywhere near as sad as a lot of other people are experiencing in life that are losing jobs and losing opportunities in life. So we have to get context. So to go to the central theme on this, no, buying an IPL team is an IPL franchise in this instance, which was going for £686 million, which is the best part of $1 billion, is a substantial move, and a substantial move in sport. So it tells you that these guys, the Glazers, whether you like them or you loathe them, are in the business of sports. Yeah,
but I mean, they're bidding 400 million quid for the cricket team. Yeah. Many United fans might say, well, how about chucking half of that, 200, at the football club?
So are we assuming that's not what they do then, when they're buying £75 million wingers, and they're buying £40 million centre-backs, and they're buying players, they're signing Cristiano Ronaldo? We've got some criticism that they're not spending money. That's a bit churlish. You can always run the argument, and I know that Man United fans can come out and say that the debt servicing and everything else that's come out of that football club over the last 14 years of their ownership could have been better served of going back into Man United. Might have helped them compromise financial fair play, you're right. Or it might have not. But the bottom line is with the exception of finding a winning formula in a dugout, which they had inherited up until 2013 and have found great difficulty in replacing. And when we hear the arguments about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and we hear other people that have been in there, like Louis van Gaal or Jose Mourinho, they did actually win things.
Yeah.
They might not have brought the most harmonious of environments, but, well, is it harmonious now then? Is it full of bonhomie now? Because you've got the guy that everybody likes who's delivering outcomes that are beginning to... Everyone can see the vision when the vision arrives. 3 years ago, when the guy walks through the door and people like me saying, no, not because I don't like him, not because I'm being rude, but because really and truly I don't see he's got the chops for a job as big as this. 3 years down the line, you reap what you sow.
Yeah.
So, no, it's not... That 400 million quid, if they want Antonio Conte or Ten Hag or whoever they want...
They can do it.
They can do what they want. They've just got to decide what they want to do. They've got to light upon a decision-making process, and whether they're close enough to it, whether they'll allow guys like Ed Woodward and will allow guys like Richard Arnold to make the decision for them and abdicate responsibility. They won't forever, because United have to get to a point where they spend the kind of money that they're spending, and they're going toe-for-toe with most people. There's not many people that are spending much more money than they are, and they're not getting any outcomes. And you cannot keep on saying they're building. You have to say that there's a building. You can't keep on saying you're building, because something has to be developed in the end.
Well, for people at their level, Simon, and my goodness, you've been at a lofty level financially, mate.
But not to that level, no.
No, not quite to that level, but not far off it. We hear that Joel and Avi Glazer were speaking with Woodward, the outgoing executive vice chairman, and Richard Arnold, the managing director, yesterday, regarding the Solskjaer situation. So regarding the cricket situation, do the Glazers just say to some lackey, look after that for us? That's what we're bidding. Tell us if we've got it or if we don't have it, and we'll concentrate on matters United.
Well, they'll have a commercial team that will advance their wishes, understanding of the landscape about how this franchise could have been acquired, and to put in a closed bid. You have an invitation to tender document, which basically puts you into a situation, notice similar to how broadcasters bid for the sports rights. Because really and truly, they're not buying cricket, they're buying cricket sports broadcasting rights. That's what they want. They want the opportunity that's beginning to come from sports broadcasting, that you're seeing these guys. You're seeing CVC, the guy, the finance company that bought the rights to the rugby. They're not buying rugby, they're buying the sporting rights, and rugby's the byproduct of it. And they're monetising different opportunities for it. They take a part of their sporting rights, they drop it into another vehicle, they make it worth 20 times what they paid for it, and that's how they make their money. Right? That's why the EFL had an opportunity last year, which should have been taken and should have been done, which was the monetisation of their rights through a particular company that wanted to buy a segment of the rights that go into the EFL. This is the way that sport is going. It is going in this direction because broadcasting of sport has been shown through the pandemic to have such an enormous opportunity that people actually thought, hang on a second, we're going to lose our rights because the broadcasters are going to lose their appetite for paying for it. Oh, no. The exact opposite applies. They've seen the value of sport. They know how they can hang hats on it for advertisers and revenue generation and VOD and behind paywall models. So this is where they're going. So the fact that the Glazers want to buy cricketing, you could say they could become a jack of all and they've never become a master of one. I don't think that's what they're trying to do. I think they're building a sporting empire which can monetize their opportunity and all the associated businesses around them. Okay. And you can't criticise them in the same way that you can criticise maybe Silent Stan, not because they're not talking very much, but they have repeatedly tried to move the model along and buy top players. So I wouldn't worry about this too much, Man United, unless you want to be offended for offended's sake.
Jim White and Simon Jordan, Monday to Thursday morning, 10 till 1. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.